Good evening, everybody. How you doing? Good evening, everybody. Marcus C. Williams here. So, it's the day after Thanksgiving, also known as Black Friday. Excuse my phone for pinging. We're using a software and stuff. It's just loading everywhere else. So, we just had Thanksgiving. Awesome Thanksgiving. Lots of food, lots of family, lots of gatherings all across our nation, all across everywhere. We have a lot of traditions historically in America. Most of them are pretty young because our country itself is fairly young, right? So, with that, we are still evolving and moving forward and stuff like that. So, when you see different things that are traditionally, I guess you would say, American, because like, what do you got? You got Canada does Thanksgiving too, but they do it way earlier than we do, and stuff like that. So we have traditions that might be in other places in the world, but our stuff is uniquely to us. So I saw a couple of things over this holiday season that I haven't been too pleased with. Namely, a lot of PC culture seems to be pervading this holiday season, and I think it's very interesting. Now, me, myself, I'm Native American and Black. Um, so I take different issues on different things and different standpoints because of me, who I am as an individual. So I look at Thanksgiving as a time to gather with your friends, your family, your loved ones, people that you care about, what we would consider a traditional Thanksgiving. And some other people might see it as now, oh, it's an old, hateful holiday, blah, 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 because whatever reason that it is, because of slavery or whatever you want, because I've heard that already this year a couple of times because of slavery. But it really should be about, the settling of our nation and the Native Americans and the issues that we've had here because of people, well, colonizing America, right? Then that brings into the question, colonization, is it good? Is it bad? Where can we go from here? So people are mad, I guess, and you could say this as a generalization, largely because they feel as though Native Americans were mistreated. And I guess that's me saying it nicely, right? Because let's remember Andrew Jackson, the founder of the Democratic Party, who was called the Indian Killer. The Indian Killer, because of the Trail of Tears, because he killed tens of thousands, really probably hundreds of thousands of Native Americans. So this is a real part of our culture now. And this dude was president and founded the Democratic Party. But that's a thing for another video. But anyway, Native Americans have historically been maltreated by our nation. Almost all of the tribes have been maltreated by our nation historically. And when I say our nation, I say America, because I'm an American. I was born in America. You understand what I'm saying? I wasn't born in Mexico. I wasn't born in Canada. Those two are in America, but they're not the United States of America when we consider America. We've also got Central America and South America too. So when it comes to America as the country versus America as the people, we have two different stories to tell completely. America as the country is a great and awesome nation. If you ask me, America is the greatest nation in the world, and I say that nobody else can hold a claim to that flag because America's awesome. Now, that just might be me and my personal feelings because I love the country of my origin. I love my nation. But I'm from here. So Thanksgiving is a tradition that is my tradition. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I also was born Catholic. I consider myself um a well, no longer Catholic, because I just decided that the religion, I didn't like the way it was going and the direction it was going, and I made it a choice to change that. Now, does that mean that I don't like the traditions of the church? Oh, I love the traditions of the church. I love the pomp and circumstance. I love all the events and everything that the Catholic Church does. I love the way that they present Mass. I love all of that. Traditions are very, very important and integral to me. And though I, I still even sometimes go to Mass sometimes, but even though I don't consider myself a practicing Catholic, and I do consider myself non-denominational, it doesn't mean that I don't like our traditions. So let's go back to traditions and let's go back to Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is a tradition, right? Now, the concept of the tradition is that it represents family, friendship, and what you have to give thanks for. So if you are a group of colonizers who have a group of people where you land and they give you food and you ravage their people, their land, and do terrible things to them, but it benefits you. I mean, as much as I don't like to think about something like that, that's kind of beneficial. So they might have had something to be thankful for. Originally, the Native Americans wouldn't have had anything to be thankful for there, but then this goes into what is Thanksgiving? Where does the holiday start? And what are the traditions that go along with it? Because again, the concept is friends, family, giving thanks, you know? And a lot of people, and you'll go around the table sometimes and you'll say, hey, what are you thankful for? What are you thankful for? Everybody's thankful for something different. Somebody can be thankful for something that hurt somebody else because it was beneficial to them. Does it make it right? That's not something that anybody else can judge outside of the individual who's made that decision for themselves, whether they're thankful for it or not. I mean, I guess honestly, you could say, well, somebody, and this happens in other places in the world. In America, it doesn't happen so often, but somebody can give you one of their organs and then they perish because they gave you one of their organs. So, should you be thankful for that when really you just killed that person? I mean, yes, that's something to be thankful for. That sacrifice was made to help enrich you. Now, the sadness is, and the reality of our nation is our nation has a history of doing terrible shit. Excuse my language. I love my country. You're going to be hard pressed to find somebody that cares about our country more than I do. But I'm not in any capacity thinking that our country has been nice throughout the history of our nation. Like, that's ridiculous. Now, to the traditions of Thanksgiving, where it started, where is it going? If that's where you decide the first Thanksgiving actually started, then maybe. If you were to decide that Thanksgiving actually started after they issued the first proclamation when George Washington was president for it to actually become a holiday, well, now that's kind of a separate consideration because technically that's now our holiday because it's been made a national holiday. So the concept is, and now this is the important part, the concept is that the holiday predates our actual founding of our nation. Aha! Right? So now we go into actually talking about our nation and traditions that are of our nation. Okay? So we've got a celebration that we have that is a holiday that is uniquely American, except for Canada, and they got their rip off of our Thanksgiving, except It's not a ripoff to them, it's theirs, and they probably say that we're the ripoff, right? But regardless, that's a holiday that's unique to them. Thanksgiving is a holiday that is unique to the US. Now, you want to tell me that our holiday is trash and should not be celebrated because it is of the origins of slaughter. Well, guess what? Our nation is of the origins of slaughter. What do you want to do? Get rid of the whole nation? No, and I'm sure many people do, because they say that out loud like it's okay now, and people let them get away with it like it's okay. I got a lot to say on it, but again, that's for a different video. So we've got all of these things where people are like, oh, well, and this is some stuff that I've heard and it blows my mind, boggles my mind. Oh, Black people shouldn't celebrate Thanksgiving because it's not ours. What do you mean? Black people have been here since before the start of the United States of America. How could Thanksgiving not be our holiday and our traditions? Hello? When we've been celebrating it the whole time, it's been a holiday for our nation. You make that make sense to me. It's not of our tradition. Not of whose tradition? You were just practicing it last year, 2 years ago. You were just practicing it. You just decided, got up one day on the side of the bed and decided, oh, this is not our tradition. This is not what we should do. How do you even know what our tradition is? Now I'm talking specifically Black-wise, and you know what, honestly, kind of Native American-wise too, because the fact of the matter is whereas the Native Americans have some culture left, depending on what tribes you are, even still the fact that many tribes that existed have been completely wiped out and lost to the annals of time. So we don't know what their traditions are. Nobody really knows what their genetic makeup is. Okay? They always give you an estimate of a round of the data of which they have of where you could have possibly come from. But they don't know. They don't know that because they're using current sampling. But anyway, that's a whole nother conversation. But the fact of the matter is that Native American culture for many people was completely erased. For many different tribes, completely erased, never to arise again. We don't know. We won't know. Even many traditions, so for instance, I'm Cherokee. Even many traditions let's say, the Blackfoot, right? Many of their traditions have gotten lost because people grow up, they pass, and now the traditions are gone. And this is why they're trying to rewrite our history today with our youth, teach them different things and move away from the traditions that we have had, because they know that by doing that, they'll be able to shape and mold the future and completely get rid of our traditions that make us the great nation in which we are. And that, my friends, that right there is a serious offense and a serious crime against our nation. It really, really is. Because we can say for sure that the history of Native Americans largely has been erased from our nation. But you want to know, and let me get back on it, you want to know what's really been erased? The history of Black people of our nation. It's real simple. It's real simple. Black people in America, when I say Black, I mean Black Americans, okay? Black people in America do not have a historical tie to culture outside of America, because our history is uniquely American. You see people from other countries like Africa, pick a country on the whole continent, right? They come over here. You see the Caribbean, pick a country. They come over here and they look what you would consider Black, right? But if you call them Black, they're mad, they're offended. And I give the greatest example is Jamaicans. They hate to be called Black, many of them. Like, and that'll start a physical altercation because black implies black American, black of slave origin in the United States of America. Now, here's where the issue comes with that. With, depending on how you want to look at it, okay, we'll just go with the narrative of slavery. We don't know where we've come from, okay? We don't know. We don't know. We don't know that our people spoke Swahili. We don't know that. There's 2,000 languages in Africa. Who got up and decided one day that Swahili is the language that the black people in America should learn? Who decided that? I didn't vote on that. Okay, there's 2,000 other ones to choose from. I could pick any of them. And that doesn't even go to the fact that many of them that were around at the time of slavery, the languages don't exist anymore. They just don't exist anymore. They're gone. So it's frustrating when I see people like cast away or cast a dispersion on Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is our holiday. It's a black people holiday. How is Thanksgiving not a black people holiday? You get around with your family, you're cooking, you're happy, whatever the case is. Who do you think is cooking the damn food? No offense, white people, but where do you think this type of food comes from? Okay, traditionally, black people, are you serious? Like, you don't want to celebrate this holiday? Because what? Why? Because how many generations have black people had an issue with celebrating Thanksgiving? Are you effing serious to me? And it goes back to the beginning of what I said, the origins of our nation, okay? When we actually got a nation, because this is how holidays work, they have to be actually proclaimed a holiday. So until Thanksgiving was proclaimed a holiday, whether or not it was celebrated before our country was a nation is irrelevant, because all of the traditions, even if they're the carried over traditions, okay, start anew at the first time it's proclaimed a holiday as we are of a nation. So I think that that is what really needs to get through to people, that people are not understanding. Like, oh, well, its origins are this. Well, our whole nation's origins are in killing people and destroying stuff. Should we kill all ourselves? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Should we get rid of ourselves because that's the origin of our nation? And it doesn't make sense to me. I think that particular issue is most frustrating to me because I know that most black people here are indigenous. Most black people here are Native American, and this could be its whole own video. You might say no, but I ain't never seen so many white Native Americans in my life. Okay, somehow all the time, there's never any representation of any dark-skinned Native American. It's sad. You know, the only ones that we have that are dark-skinned, that are Native American, are mascots, the Redskins. Okay, based on a chief that was darker than me. The dude was darker than me. If you see the pictures of him, he looks darker than me. You understand what I'm saying? We got the Blackfoot. What you do is going to be called the Whitefoot because it was black. You know, we've got a history, a rich history of black Native Americans up and down the East Coast, but people don't know the history of our own nation. So you're going to tell me that, oh, you want to make a different African sounding holiday? More power to you, okay? More power to you. But if that's the case, it doesn't mean that you have to stop celebrating Thanksgiving. It doesn't mean that you have to stop celebrating Thanksgiving. I celebrate multiple holidays, whether or not people think that I should, because of freaking holidays. I love holidays. Holidays are great, especially ones that are positive, that have food, that are nice, where you can gather with your friends, family, enjoy revelry and nice feelings, you know? Who doesn't want like that, you know? Shoot. But the fact of the matter is that just because you're black doesn't mean that you're African. Because most of us are indigenous, and I'm going to say it another time again because it merits saying. Most black people are Native American. They used to make Native Americans register as black for the census. When they tried to re-register for their IDs and stuff, they used to make them register as black. Most Native Americans were black, but they've whitewashed our history. They've whitewashed our history to make us think that we're from Africa, which is a freaking lie. Some of us are from Africa, yes, I am sure. Okay, but there's a whole financial mechanism to it and everything else. And again, that's another video. But back to Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is a uniquely American holiday. Black Americans are uniquely American. So it's our holiday. So to say that it isn't our culture, you mean cooking and food and relating with our family and giving thanks is not black culture? I don't know what black culture is then, because that sounds exactly like black culture. That sounds like Sunday dinner. That sounds like family dinner. That sounds like all of the traditional type of situations that we would have. You mean getting together and giving thanks? Black people don't get together and say prayers and give thanks, say, oh, I'm thankful for this. That doesn't happen. Like, did I not experience that in my life? Like, how is Thanksgiving not of our culture? We are Americans. We don't have another country. We don't have another culture. You're trying to draw lines distinctively to something from hundreds of years ago, which we have no attachment to the continent other than possibly DNA. So the culture that was of African origin was stripped away, leaving us with the culture that is here, that is America. Because also we know that the Native American culture has been stripped away. We know that there were conversion camps, and there were many of them were forced into different what do you call them? I guess you call them like adoption places with nuns and stuff like that. Schools, basically conversion schools, to make the separate the kids from their parents and make them more European. So that was a thing that happened. And it was bad. Okay, but that's it's frustrating, you guys, because our nation is being eroded because of political correctness and woke culture, somebody wanting to feel as though they're offended by something. Kathy Hochul the other day passed a law saying that they have to get rid of all of the Native American mascots by the end of the year, by next year, or whatever the case is. That's ridiculous. Where's the representation? Everybody's been screaming representation, representation, representation. You're taking away the representation of Native Americans. You got rid of the Redskins. You got rid of the, what do you call it? Who else had the Native American logo? Was it the Cleveland? Cleveland Indians. Yeah, that would make sense, wouldn't it? But they changed. I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But the fact is, still remains that getting rid of Native Americans as mascots, that's insulting. You tell me that I'm supposed to be insulted, but the concept of a mascot is, it's your warrior spirit. A mascot is your warrior spirit. A mascot is that's why we have mascots that are eagles. That's why we have mascots that are generals. That's why we have mascots that are lions and tigers and bears. Oh my. Because they are strong. Okay, because they are strong. And you want to get rid of the representation of Native Americans, you're just erasing further and whitewashing our nation even more. And it's a serious issue and it needs to be addressed. Now we come to Black Friday. Lord have mercy. And I'm going to keep it short on Black Friday because it's just too frustrating. So now people, and this has happened again. It's only been like 2 years that this nonsense has been going on. You know, the 2 to 10, depending on which specific topic you're talking about. But they want to get rid of Black Friday and call it something different because it's offensive. It's so frustrating with people. So it's really frustrating, you know, because why? I'm not offended by it being called Black Friday. You know, the stores make a lot of money. It puts them in the black. It's a financial threats. So, I mean, I don't understand. Well, I do understand, right? People have been taught that they should be virtue signaling all the time. People have been taught that it's okay to be offended by everything that isn't even directly offending you, that you think that you should be offended for, but not even necessarily. And many times you don't even know why you're offended. You ask some kids today, what does Veterans Day mean to them? And they have no clue. No clue. You can ask, hell, you can ask somebody on a college campus, what's Veterans Day mean? They don't know. And most Americans can't tell you the difference between Veterans Day and Memorial Day. These are the people that are upset for everybody else. And I see it many times where they tell me as a black man that I should be upset about something because it's racist. And I'm like, that's not racist. That's not racist. Stop saying that's racist. That's not racist. I don't need people that are not me to tell me how I'm supposed to feel. I don't need white people to tell me how I'm supposed to feel. I don't need white people to tell my story. And this is something that you'll hear many times from Hispanics too. Okay, you'll hear that from immigrants as well. We don't need other people telling our story. But the fact of the matter is, most of these people pushing this PC and this wokeness at the top levels are white. They are almost extensively white, exclusively white, liberal, many, progressive, many, but all elitists. All of them are considerably above our level as the general public. And they couldn't give a pop or a squat as long as they're raking in the big bucks. And that's what woke and PC culture has always been about: making money and control and domination. That's all that it is. It's a complete way to keep us subservient to them, to keep us in fear that if we stand up or if we speak out of line, out of turn, that somebody will say, hey, you can't do that. And now we're going to cancel you, or we're going to push you to the side, or we're going to freeze your accounts, or we're going to do this, or we're going to do that. And you're a horrible person. And we're going to make sure that nobody else stands up to us ever again. And this is where we are. Woke culture, PC culture, it's ridiculous. It's literally the whitewashing of our nation and its history. So you want to tell me that I should be offended by Thanksgiving? No, because I'm all American. My people have been here before this was a country. And we have continued to help grow, develop, and advance the nation that we live in. And I will continue to fight for my nation because I believe in our nation. I believe in our people. I believe in my countrymen. And I know not only do we deserve better, but if we're going to get better, we're going to have to push for it ourselves. Nobody's coming to save us. Woke culture, PC culture is continuing to erode away at our cohesive traditional natures that actually unite and bind us all as Americans. I think that it's very important that we all remember that no matter, regardless of our backgrounds, we are all American. And we all live in America. Unless you're watching this and you're not American, then you don't live here. But we're all American. We have to make sure that we stand up for our traditions. Making new traditions is always fine and always good. But our historical traditions, the ones, what do you call them? The ties that bind. We need to make sure that we're holding them up, advancing them forward, because it's destroying the roots of our nation. And I'll give you a great example. You see the Aztecs, the Olmecs, the Incans, the Mayans, all of them, right? All of them, giant, massive, proud Native American tribes in Central and South America, and a little bit of North America. But you see them, they are all in the same area, right? But when one civilization went over and took over the other one, their civilization was the one whose culture and traditions were the ones that were preserved in that area. We have to fight to preserve our traditions and our culture because we don't have any other culture. Black people are distinctly American. We don't have any other culture. You don't hear a black person say, "Oh, I'm from Gambia." I mean, like you hear an Italian American say, "I'm an Italian American." I'm not a Gambian American. I don't know where the hell Gambia is on a map. I know where Gambia is on a map, but you get what I'm saying. See, this is the issue. And even when you hear people that are like Irish American or whatever, these are some of the people that are the most proud to be American and American born that you'll ever find. But right now we're being told that we should not be proud of our American history, our American heritage, our shared heritage to tie the bonds. 4th of July, Thanksgiving. They've already continued to try to erase Christmas for the last few decades, and they're really speeding it up now. We're not going in a positive direction. We have to turn this ship around. And if we continue forward with woke culture and PC culture the way that it is, where you're not able to say anything because somebody might possibly consider that another group that they do not belong to may actually be upset, and they'll take away everything from you. That can't be the way that we are going to be as a nation. That can't be who we're going to be as a people. Excuse my language, it could be, but let's not make it that way. We have to drive forward. We have to right this ship. We got to go in the right direction because we keep going backwards and eroding everything that we have built. We will have nothing left. They continue to try to pick and peel everybody away from each other because we do not have a cohesive identity as an American culture, because it's still forming, because we are a young nation. But things like Thanksgiving are something that unite us all as a national holiday. 4th of July unites us all as a national holiday. Something for pride, for us to have as Americans. Never lose your American pride, because right now, they don't want you to be proud of being American. And you should be damn proud to be American. And with that, I'm going to bid you guys good night. You all be blessed, be well, and I'll catch up with you later.